Yeah.
Right.
The second one just looked like there was no other way to view it, I don't think, as him intentionally making contact, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think
I didn't see Grosjean's comments afterwards. What did he say?
Grosjean just said, like,
All I
oh,
saw
it
was
was
Rahal.
just good, hard racing.
Yeah, okay.
Graham Rahal was in the right here. And Graham Rahal, I think, would have the support. And this is Graham Rahal, who I think there are a lot of drivers that resent some things about Graham. I mean, I think they like him as a dude. But there are probably those that don't like the fact that his dad's the team owner and whatever else. And they're even with that, they're going to side with Graham Rahal.
There's some boy that cried wolf with Graham, I think, is the problem, where he complains about everything. So I've always appreciated his honesty.
Right.
And I like that he tells it like how he sees it is. I don't think how he sees it is always how it goes down.
Right. Fair enough.
And he always tells it. He never keeps anything to himself. And I think that rubs some fans the wrong way.
I do like Graham.
I know you do. Yeah.
You know.
Except for the Ohio State part, right?
Yeah, that we can do without.
So
right?
congratulations to Pato Award, who is our winner of the week.
Time also while we're giving out awards, Derek, for our Love That Play.
Yeah.
Love That Play brought to you by the good guys at Love Heating and Air Conditioning, love-hvac.com. You see it right there.
Milk.
Look at this. I'm looking right at the camera, and I'm able to do that, and I can see that I'm pointing right at it, Derek.
You got to do it like a
Do you see-
weatherman.
Do you see how good my
Love
peripheral
heating and
vision is?
cooling.
Love
Right over
Heating,
here.
love-hvac.com. Love Heating and Air has been around for over 100 years in Central Indiana. That's because of good customer service, great product, commitment to those two things, the customers and the product themselves, and 24 hours on-call maintenance. When your furnace goes out at 3 o'clock in the morning and it's cold, no problem. Love is going to be there for you. That's what we love about Love Heating and Air Conditioning. They bring us each and every play, our favorite play of the weekend. Derek?
I don't really have a play. I have a moment of multiple plays.
Okay.
The Mets combined for a no-hitter. I think they had 5 pitchers do it.
Does
Starter
that
Tyler
count as a
McGill.
no-hitter?
For the Mets, who only have one in their history, I guess it does, right? Johan is the only one who's ever done it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they were the last team in Major League Baseball to not have a no-hitter, I believe. It was them and the Padres for a while.
I think it was the Padres.
And then the Padres had I thought the Padres had one. Did they not?
They did, but I'm saying
Okay.
I think the Padres were the last, weren't they?
Oh, maybe they were. Maybe Johan was 10 years ago, which is weird.
The Padres
to think
was
that
like
it was
3
that long
years ago.
Okay, for the first time.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah,
You should
the,
do a
the
little more
combined
prep.
no-hitter.
You should
We
probably
don't prep
look
anything
into
at
these
all.
things. Huh?
What bothers me about this no-hitter, 6 walks. That's a sloppy no-no. Like, congratulations, you got the no-hitter, but you put 6 guys on base. You were pitching out of trouble.
Does the
all night.
no-hitter count if it's multiple pitchers?
Yeah.
I don't think it does really, right?
I don't know. We're talking about love that play, and we're complaining about this. So
Yeah, so we should
maybe
pick
we
something
should do
else.
something different. What would your love that play be?
Was it this week or last when John Morant had his dunk?
Ooh, yeah, that was pretty good.
John Morant continues to not only play at a level that is continuing to rise and rise and rise for the Memphis Grizzlies, but in addition to that, John Morant continues to make a lot of money for Jaden Ivey. Because Jaden Ivey, for whatever reason, his size, athleticism, and probably partially his hairdo, reminds a lot of people of John Morant.
Yeah.
And people that thought that Morant was too undersized. Do you remember, Derek? And I'm going to go with John Morant's dunk as my love that play because it allows me to once again pat myself on the back, which is something I'm very good at. Do you recall, Derek, one day when we were doing the show at our old place, right off the top one day out of the complete blue, and it would have been just before the NBA draft, probably like this time of year, May, June. And I said, you know what? I'm starting to think more and more that if I had the number 1 overall pick, I would take John Morant over Zion Williamson. You remember me saying that?
I remember Josh Allen. You got Josh Allen,
That's the
right?
only. I got Josh Allen right.
Don't really.
This is my only other win.
I'm just trying to think of other times that you've been right in the 11 years that we've been together. And I remember Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember another time that you were right about something. So, no, I don't remember the John Morant thing.
Well, I said it.
Yeah. You picked Marco Andretti to win the Indy 500 like every year from 2012 through 2018.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't remember a lot of times you were
I
right.
did. No, that's not true. I did. When Montoya won his second, I absolutely was emphatic.
Yeah, you're right, because I had power. And
I was
and
emphatic
of course,
Montoya was going to
they
win the
were
race.
1-2, and we were pretty proud of ourselves afterwards. Power would have won that race on a lot of different days if Montoya wasn't the guy he was going
You're
against.
probably right.
I thought he had a really big car that day. I mean, Penske was just crazy. They're crazy most days. But, yeah, John Morant's a great pick. They don't do that in the NBA, but his RAS score would be crazy. Him and Jaden Ivey. Just super-duper crazy athletes. So thanks to Love Heating and Cooling, love-hvac.com, 353-2141 for all your heating and cooling needs. We'll come back with our
Serenity now.
Hoagies and
Serenity
Hops
now.
Hoagie of the Week.
Serenity now.
It's the big boy.
Does it have a RAS?
Huh?
Good Lord.
Yeah. Sorry, should I not hold it like that on TV?
Yeah, it looks a little odd. Yeah.
Hey, look at the big.
Come on.
Hoagies and Hops.
Are you showing off your RAS? Is that what?
Can we get that in post? All right.
You've already screwed up once with these.
I don't want to
people.
include that in the show.
Yeah,
I just realized
this is the sponsor that caused you to drop an F-bomb on live television, and now you're like a fifth grader.
I just saw the monitor right here, and I've got the sandwich down here, but like raising it up from the table the way that I did was probably not the best viewpoint for the people at home. But no, this is the here. I'll just raise it like this.
I promise to you people. I promise. For those of you that wake up early enough to listen to me on the radio, I thank you. And I promise you that I have both the professionalism and maturity to be able to intellectually carry on a very adult. What are you doing over there?
It's just an awesome sandwich. It's huge.
I'm
so
dispute
psyched
it's an
about
awesome
it.
sandwich, but Derek, I've got a reputation to uphold.
We usually get the 9-inch one, but this is the big boy. Look at this guy.
We'll be back.
Brotherly love. We're going to eat it when we come back.
Goodness.
It's Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Welcome back. Bailey & Wood Financial Group presents Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Thanks so much for joining us. Alongside Jay Query, who has bone spurs and is limping right now for a bathroom break because he can't make it the entire show without using the facilities. I'm Derek Schultz. BAWFG.com, 855-350-HOME, by the way, for our friends at Bailey & Wood Financial Group. We really appreciate Mike and his team coming aboard and being the presenter, sponsor of the show for 2022. You good?
No, I had to go out and talk to the FCC.
Let's get our delicious hoagies on here from our friends at Hoagies and Hops. 42nd and Boulevard, the best effing sandwich in Indianapolis, or really anywhere in Indiana that you're going to find. Christina actually gave us the big sandwich. You know why? She wasn't happy about Jake always eating the entire hoagie before we even started the segment. So she thought by giving us more sandwich, then we would know, hey, Jake will actually have time to eat the thing.
I want to let you know, Derek, a couple of things. First, thank you for that because Hoagies and Hops are outstanding. And secondly, I appreciate those of you who have gone by to stop and see them.
Yeah.
And third, and perhaps most importantly, a lot of people telling me that they're disgusted by your eating on the air. And I tend to agree because I had to work with you for a long time in the same office. And I could hear you chewing from like literally, and this was back in our old place when there were actually more than just you and I working in there. And I could hear you eating from a mile away, and you are a disgusting eater. Just so you know.
What the viewers at home decide. Is this disgusting to you, or does it look appealing? I think it'd be the latter.
The sound. Your mouth makes horrific noises when you eat.
I'm just talking about. Brotherly love. You ready? I'll give you all the elements of the sandwich here.
Do you want to hold it towards the camera so people can see it?
Well, I'm on my camera.
Oh, okay.
Lettuce, tomato. The shaved onion is a really underrated aspect of the delicious Hoagies and Hops hoagie. Provolone, ham, salami, turkey, and this was actually Christina's favorite sandwich as a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's high up in my power rankings. I mean, Hog Island is still number one for me, the one that led me to curse on the show.
I'll tell you,
but this one is way up there.
What was the one we had last week or 2 weeks ago?
Wait, you said 2 weeks ago.
Let me interpret for you folks. We had the cheesesteak a few weeks ago. Derek just said that to me was that cheese sauce in there.
Maybe you're talking about the pit twist with the potato chips on top. Is that the one that you really like?
The cheesesteak.
Cheesesteak, yeah,
Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
it's the best cheesesteak. It really is. Hero of the week. I can't remember the last time that I watched 60 Minutes, but that sound of the ticking clock used to depress me because it meant that the weekend was ending because my parents religiously watched 60 Minutes. Have you ever seen in your travels or even around Indianapolis these bumper stickers that say like birds aren't real or signs? And you're like, birds aren't real. What are you talking about? And it's like, well, they're government drones or whatever. Have you ever come across? I feel like I saw one in Florida. I saw one in
today's
Ohio.
Isn't today the day that the president's being reinstated?
Well, yeah. The birds aren't real guy. The guy that started that, it's just some dude. He's like in his 20s. Peter McIndoe, hope I'm saying his last name right, appeared on 60 Minutes on Sunday night to discuss the birds aren't real phenomenon. And it's actually just a conspiracy theory to parody other conspiracy theories.
Really?
He said there was a protest going on outside his apartment at one point, and he's like, people were saying stuff that was so stupid. I was like, I'm just going to get out there with a sign that says something ridiculous. So I went out there with a sign that said, birds aren't real. And it captured so many people's attention that he started a website, and his friends all got in on it too. And so they'd like send tweets about how if a seagull takes your sandwich on the beach, that's not actually a bird eating. They're taking your hoagie because you bit into it and it's got DNA on it, and they're flying it back to the Pentagon. It's actually a mechanical drone. And some people believe this and like bought into the whole birds aren't real thing, but it turns out it's all a parody to parodies.
Was it a parody to a parody, like Parrotty? Those are birds, as you know.
It's a really bad joke. Why does everything have to be a joke? This is a serious show.
You're eating with your mouth full. Like, did you not?
I just thought that kid is my hero. Because that's
pretty good.
The best thing to do when it comes to parody or do that deadpan stuff is when people actually buy into it and they think it's real. That's when you know that you're doing a really good job. So go see Christine and our friends, Hoagies and Hops. Grab a brotherly love while you're there. A 16-inch one if you even want to do that.
And don't be afraid if a bird takes it.
Or any of their delicious sandwiches. It'll be a real bird.
Don't pick your teeth on live
television,
television,
I had one of those onions that I talked about, and it was stuck. It's actually still right up here. Hold on. I'll do that during the commercial break. Get that in the commercial break. Quick hits time. You ready?
Oh, I've
got some quick hits to get
ready.
to.
Trust me.
With our guy Darren and our friends at Stewart Tire and Auto. Stewart Tire on Facebook.
Derek's getting ready to fix up the Grand Cherokee for me. A little oil.
Yeah, we just took the IFC truck down there, and he did the brakes for it. Got them all spick and span. I drove it back up here, 65. Just like new. And that's what Darren and the folks at Stewart and Tire and Auto are going to do for you. Stop 13 Road, so the extreme south side of Indianapolis, just north of Greenwood Park.
You want to talk...
and they can do everything for your car.
You want to talk local? Darren posted video of him on May 1st putting out the checkered flag out in front of his house.
Yeah.
He and his wife went. They love Stewart Tire because he'd worked there for a long time. Started at the bottom, worked his way up. Now he owns the place and is committed to family service, family values. That's what we love about our friend April.
Yep.
Went down there, and he's taking care of her and her daughter. Great guy.
Biggest Indy 500 fan that I know, I think.
Yeah.
Darren,
he's
Darren
spotting
King.
for me this year for the Grand Prix.
Awesome.
Yep.
I'm going to be at the Grand Prix.
Okay. Well, we'll be in the credentialed area.
I'm going to be credentialed.
You are?
Yeah. They haven't told you yet?
No.
Yeah. I'm doing pre and post for the Grand Prix.
For
IndyCar radio?
No. I work there, Derek. I know that.
Yeah, no, they asked me. So I'm going to do pre and post.
Am I doing it with you?
No, I don't. I think Kurt Darling of IBC is going to do it with me. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
So
do you want to come on?
No, it sounds to me like probably I think I might have declined that, so they probably called you.
Because I was going to ask Mark, and then I was going to ask Davey, and then I was going to ask Michael, and then I was going to ask Nick. And then I was thinking if all of them said no, then maybe you could come on for a little bit.
No, I think I get enough brotherly love just from the sandwich right here. I don't need, you know what I mean?
I'm glad to break that news to you. Okay. Quick hit number 1, the Reds are a total disaster.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
They are 3-19, the worst start in their history. And remember, they are the first baseball team, so that is a long history.
You know, if they were the first baseball team, who'd they play? This is the third worst start after 22 games, or at 22 games, the third worst in the history since 1900.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know it was that bad.
1-21. The Orioles in '88 were 1-21, but I mean,
well, yeah, they lost their first
18. I think,
yeah,
18
17 or 18. I was going to say
it's brutal.
Speaking of, the Reds have dropped 17 of 18, and no bueno. I mean, this was a roster.
Where are you going to go?
They really could have competed in the NL Central, and they sold off some parts. I don't think they're as bad talent-wise as 3-19, but it just kind of shows it.
I want them to
you
go.
put it on top of the fan malaise.
I don't want them to
bad.
exceed 25 wins. I'm going to be mad if they do.
I think they're going to get past 25 wins, Jake.
You think so?
Quick hit number 2, the Indiana Fever wrap up the preseason, and they open up their 2022 WNBA season Friday night.
Will the Reds this year have more losses than the 76 Reds had wins?
How many did the 76 Reds have?
What was it, Rake? 106? Yeah. Something like that?
Oh, yeah. 1998 Yankees had 114, and then they won it all, so they ended up with 125.
What did the Mariners have?
116 when the Yankees beat them, and that's still the regular season record, I think.
Yeah, that's amazing.
There was like a team in 19-aught. There was a Cubs team, like 19-aught something, that was like 114, I think, too, or 15, and that's the team that the Mariners actually lost to the Yankees in the ALCS that year.
What was your next quick hit?
Indiana Fever. Sunday afternoon, though, is the home opener, 3 p.m. against L.A., so get out and support the ladies as they try to turn that thing around.
They got a lot of young talent.
I just talked to Lynn Dunn last week for an Indy Star podcast, and she's one of my favorite people of all time to talk to. Quick hit number 3, a Pelican plopped down in front of an airliner on the taxiway at San Diego International Airport on Thursday.
It was nice of them to not run them over.
Prompting a brief standoff. It's actually kind of a serious thing. Had to get the SWAT team involved. The bird did end up choosing to fly off unharmed, which is good. I was hoping that they were going to, take matters into their own hands. But then you risk human life by doing that. The unusual encounter happened around 1:30 p.m. as an Horizon Air. Horizon Air? Have you heard of Horizon Air?
I've not.
E175 tried to taxi to the runway for departure. The outbound plane headed for Washington came to a halt when the pilots noticed a feathered obstacle.
I mean,
they honked horns, they waved arms. The Pelican just stood there like, come on, bring it.
I don't mean to make light of what was a serious situation, but when I saw the video of it, it reminded me of the guy in Tiananmen Square, like the standoff.
Oh, yeah, like he did not move.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, the Pelican was just standing there like, bring it.
Yeah. So, luckily, no injuries there.
That could have been bad for the plane.
Yeah. Could have definitely been bad for everybody on board. Pelican and the corrosive juices that it has in that gullet there be a real problem for everybody.
Corrosive juices.
It's like that scene in Jurassic Park where the fat guy's there with the spitting dinosaur, like that. Pelicans can't do that.
Jurassic Park was so bad, by the way.
It's one of the greatest movies of my life. Jurassic Park set box office records, Jake.
Okay.
I guess so did Avatar.
Yeah, I mean,
did you ever see Avatar?
No. Well, yes, I did. It was the Blue Smurf version of Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, really, really bad. Yeah, it was like a 90-minute PSA about the environment, I feel like, and it was supposed to be a movie apparently.
It was bad.
Yeah, and you felt no
emotional
very involvement with them, the characters at all. It was just super over the top. Indy 500 coming up right around the corner. Grand Prix, which is kind of the new opening of the month of May, the new opening day at the track coming around the corner. If you don't have your tickets yet, got to go and see our friends at onlyindytickets.com.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought it was right here.
There it is.
Only Indy Tickets. Yep.
onlyindytickets.com, where you have a 100% worry-free guarantee that your tickets are going to be legitimate. And I've gone and I've looked. You know I'm a penny pincher, Jake. My wife says
Correct.
I'm cheap. I think that's a little extreme. I want to live within our means.
Okay.
And I've been to the secondary ticket sites before and searched prices, and nothing that I've found has come close to what you get with onlyindytickets.com. And you're supporting a local business because it's onlyindytickets.com. It's not some, whatever, national brand, if you will. Go to their site. You could search not only for sporting event tickets. So obviously we're talking a lot about the month of May stuff at the track. Concerts as well. A big deal, onlyindytickets.com. And
concert season coming up.
Concert season's really already started.
You're right.
For most people. But onlyindytickets.com, we appreciate them coming back aboard onto the show once again and are excited
that
to spend the
guarantee
month of May
too. I
with
mean,
them.
just that you know what I mean? The peace of mind when you buy
Yeah,
the tickets.
100%. Yeah,
Huge.
don't mess with the scalpers or anything like that. Know that the tickets that you're getting are real.
I
Just like birds are real.
Okay. Now we know that, right?
Also real is the owner of Lou Malnati's
Love it.
Pizzeria, Marc Malnati. And we rarely do this on the show, but we're actually going to have a guest.
Okay.
The owner of Lou Malnati's is going to join us when we return. It's Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Stick around.
Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good. This one is good. There you go. Wow, Dawson makes a great catch. Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
That is
Wrestler!
Wrestler!
Whoa!
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Welcome back. It's Corey and Schultz here on ISC Sports Network alongside Jake Query. I'm Derek Schultz, and we don't get to do this often since the relaunch of the show in 2020 that we've been able to have guests on. So, Jake, we usually reserve our guest space for the VIPs of VIPs.
Correct.
And this person absolutely is a VIP. And we're so happy to start this new sponsorship and partnership with Lou Malnati's, who now soon to have 4 Indy area locations, right now with 3, including Jake and I's personal favorite in Broad Ripple.
I have a question for you, Derek. I have a question for you. Lou Malnati's, I remember going to Dave's first bachelor party 15 years ago in Chicago. Lou Malnati's, got to go to Lou Malnati. Everyone knows of it. It's legendary. It's iconic. It's beloved. People were chomping at the bit for years for it to come to Central Indiana. They come to Central Indiana and they partner now, and you reached out and they partnered with us. Do they know who they're dealing with here? Because this is the upper echelon, the top crust, if you will, of food in Indianapolis. And then this dog and pony show that you've gotten them roped in with.
Well, yeah, I talked with Mark, and Mark reached out and said, hey, we're the #1 deep dish pizza brand, and we want to partner with the #1 show/podcast brand. And so that's why Query and Schultz and Lou Malnati's was a natural fit. But Mark, the owner of the Lou Malnati's pizzerias, all of the locations, not only the ones here in Central Indiana, is kind enough to join us here on the show. And Mark, it's great to have you on. Let's talk about expanding into Indiana, because you and your wife obviously have a lot of IU ties. I'm sure you heard from friends and family, hey, Indiana. And you had an area up in, I think it was in Cherville, if I'm not mistaken, in the Chicagoland area. So technically you had an Indiana store. But what was it about this market that made you guys want to tap in here recently?
Well, my wife, Jeannie, and I both went to IU back in the glory years of Bobby Knight. We were there when he was throwing chairs on the court and grabbing Jim Wishman's shirt and going undefeated. And in the early 80s, we promised all our old friends from Bloomington that it wouldn't be long before we opened a store down in Indianapolis. Well, you know, I guess it won't be long is relative. It took a few more years than we planned, but we're there. We're back.
You know, my question is this, Mark, kidding aside, and that is just the pride that goes into the brand. Because, you know, listen, it is difficult to make it in the restaurant business. We know this, and you do it through a couple of ways. You do it through great customer service, but you got to have great pizza. And you got to, and to become not just established, but to become legendary, quite frankly, and known throughout the region and the country. I mean, there's a huge pride in that, and I'm certainly proud to be a part of it now. But I'm curious, from your standpoint, what would you say has been, pardon the pun, the ingredient that has allowed Lou Malnati's to become the iconic brand that it is?
Well, it's easy. You know, it's the people. Restaurant is a people business, and we have been able to recruit unbelievable people over the years, and then people who've stayed for 10 and 20 and 30 and 40, now 50 years with us. And that's really the answer. You have to be able to do things at a level of excellence repeatedly, you know, time after time. You're only as good as the last meal you put in front of someone. And we do that because we have people who care and people who, you know, hold that flag high and believe that the only way to do it is with absolute best, freshest ingredients and with meticulous care every day.
When you think of the Midwest, I think you think of deep dish pizza. And I think a lot of people, when they think of deep dish pizza, obviously think of Lou Malnati's. Is there a pride, Mark, that's associated with it? You know, we talk so much about the coasts and New York and LA and all the things that they have going on, but here it's a very proud people, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, you know, that whole area. And then into Arizona, where you guys also are, where a lot of retirees of the Midwest end up going in their later years. Is there a pride attached to your brand and to your pies?
Well, you know, when you are the number one brand in the, you know, in the country, I think, you know, there's a certain swagger, but there's also a certain humility, because you have to listen to people, and you have to be able to you know, take your lumps. If, you know, we don't always do it perfect, and we have to be willing to say, you know, I think you're right. I think we can fix that. I think we can change that a little bit. I think we could get a little bit better tomorrow than we were today. And, you know, I think that's really the recipe for success.
You know, I'm assuming that whenever you, Mark, are coming up with new ideas and you're moving like the clouds, like you say, I want to touch on something you talked about, and something Derek and I are really familiar with. You can't be afraid to fail at times, right? I mean, you've got to be able to say, you know what, let's try something. And if it doesn't work out, we'll pick up and we'll learn from it and move on. How difficult was that for you, especially going to college where a basketball team was perfect? So how difficult was it for you to learn that over the years?
No, well, we've made a lot of mistakes. And, you know, I can't even count the times we've screwed up. And you can't goof up too often, you know, to stay on your feet in this business. But, you know, lately, we've been trying to develop a great gluten-free crust. And it has taken us, I think, 3 years to get to the point where we really feel like we have something that we can bring to market. But a lot of failures along the way, a lot of sending it out to friends and them saying, yeah, this is terrible. You know, you need to fix it. This is never going to
you're lying now.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that. But right now, I think we've got it at a place where it's the best gluten-free crust that you can buy. And you can, you know, there's not a lot of gluten-free deep dish pizzas. A lot of people are doing it with thinner pizzas, but we're doing it both and having some success now. but you don't get to success without being willing to fail. You're right about that.
Mark, I grew up back east and was kind of a pizza snob. I grew up near New Haven, which has its own kind of pizza brand. Obviously, New York is close, the Neapolitan style, the folded up and the regular slice. And I know you know the old Jon Stewart clip. In fact, I think you went on his show, if I'm not mistaken, to defend deep dish pizza. And both Jake and I had a former radio boss named Rob Cressman, who was a native Chicagoan. And as a thank you, he had sent us Tastes of Chicago gift cards. And, you know, I get them and I take them home to my wife and she's like, oh, we've got to get these pies. And I was like, well, honey, we're New York style. We don't deep dish. And she's like, you've never even tried it before. Let's try these. And ever since then, the mail order Lou Malnati's pie, I've been hooked. But there's nothing quite like getting the fresh pie out of the oven like we've been able to do here in Indy now with the Broad Ripple store, especially, which is my personal favorite.
Yeah. Well, Derek, we like your wife, first of all. And, you know, we appreciate her bringing you away from the dark side. You know, some people would swear there isn't really pizza on the East or West Coast. But you know, hey, there's no bad pizza in my book. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to go anytime.
I just can't believe I've been missing out for all these years because I was so defensive about it. But man, deep dish, it's unbelievable in the pies that you make. When your dad started this thing, do you think that he had any idea or anybody in the family had any idea what it would become? And what does that legacy mean to you? Because you go anywhere now and you see your dad's name. I mean, that's got to be really cool.
Yeah, I think he'd probably be angry with me. You know, now here's why. You know, my dad had a gigantic ego and he thought he was going to be the next Ray Kroc, like the Ray Kroc of pizza. He was going to open all over the world as quickly as possible. And, you know, and unfortunately he died at 47 years old. And we had only been open a few years. But, you know, he'd say, well, you know, you've done okay, but, you know, we don't have anything in Europe yet. There's nothing in China. So I don't know. He'd probably be disappointed.
But you know what, Mark?
That was my dad.
You know, the beauty of it, Mark, I think is this, and that is that for me, and I've taken a lot of great pride in being an Indianapolis native and growing up here. And we spent a lot of time in Chicago when I was a kid. My parents had lived there. But I know when you take a place that has the quality and the pride of it, of Lou Malnati's, and then to have them come to Indianapolis and come to Broad Ripple, to me, that means that Indianapolis in its own right is special because you guys wouldn't be going somewhere if it wasn't a place that you knew was special, because that's what makes your brand what it is. That's part of the iconic nature of the brand. So for me, I'm absolutely thrilled because I just think it's a huge compliment to the area that I grew up in to have a place like Lou Malnati's and the quality of it find us worth being able to venture and partner together. I just think it's great for Indianapolis.
No, thanks, Jake. It's great for Malnati's too, because Indianapolis is the sister city. You know,
sure.
It always has been for my family. We travel, you know, back and forth to Indianapolis. We have friends there and that are like family and have always had that. And we know it's the same way with people from Indy. They're always up in Chicago. They want to get up there. That's part of their normal retinue of moving to and from in the Midwest. So, yeah, I'm excited about it too, and I can't wait to get a few more stores open and have more people get the opportunity to try, our deep dish.
Let's talk about your ties to Little 500 and IU. Both Jake and I are former IU students as well, but you've got a special tie-in because of meeting Jeannie there. And I know I saw the video when you guys first came to Indiana and announcing the new stores and your deep connection with Indiana University. But take us through that background, Mark, of meeting your wife, because there's this great photo of you. And I believe you're coaching on the sidelines, one of the cycling teams. And there's your wife in her sorority shirt. Going through, I think, row 4 of the stands there at Bill Armstrong Stadium, getting ready to watch the greatest bike race in the world.
Yeah, right. That was a picture that we discovered several years after we were married. Someone sent it to us. And, yeah, I was coaching the team for our fraternity, and Jeannie's sorority was matched with us. And that's not actually where we met. One of my best friends from Chicago was her fraternity father, that whole kind of hokey thing. And Jeannie was someone that, I fell in love with first time I saw her, first time I met her. And but unfortunately, I had to wait in line because there were hundreds of others who felt the same way about her. I don't know. It was one of those freaks of nature thing that happen when you wind up playing way above the rim, that Jeannie and I actually wound up together. My moment of glory. But having a chance to coach the bike team for a couple of years in Bloomington was a fantastic experience, and to really push our guys to their limits. And we got to take spring break. The house paid for us to go down to Daytona and practice on the hard packed sand, and race, push them behind the car, work on exchanges on the sand so that you wouldn't get hurt as bad. And it was a tremendous time of bonding, and everybody in the community gets behind that race. And man, I learned as much from having the chance to coach that team and support and encourage those guys as I did from any class I took in the business school at Indiana. And those are the kind of college experiences you always remember. We've got a bike team to this day, and I try to be supportive of that. And went down to the race a couple of years ago with a whole bunch of alums and got to experience it. It's really grown. It's so much faster now. It's great experience.
You fell in love with the pizza the first time you saw it, right, Derek?
I did, absolutely. And that was just the frozen pies. That wasn't even, the fresh out of the oven pies of what you end up getting. We really appreciate, again, you joining us and the partnership. I know Jake likes the little Lou Malnati's squeezy tomatoes that he gets to help me with in the studio. But LouMalnatis.com if you want to order. Also the carry out and order online locations, West 86th Street, as well as Carmel, a store coming in Greenwood, dine in, the beautiful space in Broad Ripple, especially with the weather starting to warm up, a gorgeous patio where you can watch all the games. But head to LouMalnatis.com to check that out. And we're really excited about doing Query and Schultz from the Lou Malnati studio. So thanks so much, Mark. Really appreciate the partnership and hope to see you back in Indiana here soon.
Yeah, I'd love to chat with you guys. And hey, when I get down to Indy in the next couple months, why don't you come back in the kitchen and we'll make some pizzas together?
Love it.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching, barn needs cleaning, tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do, from Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Derek makes me hungry for a pie. Right?
It does, yeah, that entire interview.
I can't believe I just said pie. That's
I got hungry for a pie, that's right. We're actually going to bring some Malnati's pies to everybody here on the ISC team coming up here in studio, yeah. So you can eat some of it on the show.
So good, man.
Yeah, we actually had personal pies delivered for that interview with Mark, and really appreciate Mark's time.
My parents
I know he's
love
got
it.
a ton going on, so appreciate him carving out some time for us, but we really Love the partnership between us and Lou Malnati's. Back for a final time here on Query and Schultz, episode 84. Thanks so much for joining us. Maybe you're watching on YouTube, ISC, listening on podcast. Maybe you're watching on Twitch. We're on Twitch now. Twitch.tv/Query and Schultz.
Will you do this?
No, it's just another one of those media platforms that you're unfamiliar with because you're super old. I know that you are familiar with, however, one of our other food partners, I should say, in DeBrand Fine Chocolates.
Yes.
And Mother's Day coming up.
Love it.
Right around the corner. In fact, it's Mother's Day Sunday, right? Oh, my God. Is Mother's Day Sunday? Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
okay. Yeah. Well, you got to get those mail orders in right now. So if you're watching this right now on Monday while we're taping this, you have to call our friends at DeBrand Fine Chocolates of Indianapolis, 317-669-0955, and get that mail order in. Or go into the store today. Shops at River Crossing, up by the Fashion Mall, DeBrand Fine Chocolates, Indianapolis.
Look at this.
I'm actually going to eat one of the butter cookies here.
Look at this.
Yeah, aren't they beautiful?
I don't want them to fall out.
It's gorgeous, right?
I mean, the presentation on this is just gorgeous.
You got to lift it up a little bit more there. There you go. See the
There
monitor
you
in
go.
front of you?
Yeah, I know, but I don't want the chocolate to fall out because I don't want to ruin the chocolate because it's too good.
Our YouTube commenter of the week gets a free tasting package from DeBrand Fine Chocolates as well. So if you're watching on YouTube right now,
Derek,
keep that in mind.
why?
Oh,
You got to
so
quit
good.
talking with your mouth full, man.
I mean, besides just the chocolates, they have cookies.
Besides the
candy.
chocolates, they have cookies, they have candies. They also have the
Coffee bar.
fabulous coffee bar where you can go in, you
Delicious.
can get your work done right next to, I always forget if it's Barnes & Noble or Borders. I think it's Barnes & Noble. But up on 82nd Street, right across from the Fashion Mall, directly to the east of the Fashion Mall. If you were to walk out of Saks, walk straight, don't get hit by the traffic when you cross over, but look both ways, cross, and then you'll walk right into DeBrand Fine Chocolates, and you are going to think that you are walking into like a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. Absolutely gorgeous. Lori and Bill are in there. Tell them we said hi. And enjoy the chocolates as well as the hot caramel drink. I know this time of year it's warm outside, but I'm telling you, you get that caramel inside the froth milk, have Lori whip. Oh, it's unbelievable. So good.
317-669-0955. Get that order in or head over to the shop today. Load up on Mother's Day candy for mom, for your wife, any of the moms in your life. I've actually got to text my mother-in-law something not Red Sox Yankees related, I guess, for Mother's Day.
She's a Red Sox fan,
Yeah,
right?
Huge. And a huge trash talker. Way worse than my wife.
Really?
Oh, yeah. My mother-in-law is the biggest trash talker I've ever met.
Does your wife still watch the Red Sox games?
Yeah. Yeah, her family is firmly Red Sox.
How far did your wife grow up from Boston?
2 hours.
Boston's a lovely city, right?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I love it, yeah. A lot of history.
But here's the thing. You go into a Boston, like the ritziest of Boston shops, nothing like the DeBrand Fine Chocolates.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, it's
Same with
a
New York.
beautiful store that they have there, for sure. A couple of things to get to before we wrap up here. Let's start with our Sage Move of the Week, brought to you by our friends at WGU Indiana. Indiana.wgu.edu for your continuing education.
WGU.edu/Indiana, but close.
No, you can go. That also redirects. Indiana.wgu.edu. Yeah.
Okay.
I know, Jake. I research all of this stuff.
WGU Indiana is Indiana's largest online accredited university. So you can go back to school on your own time, whether you're starting out for the first time or whether you're deciding to finish a college degree. WGU Indiana, you can actually be like Derek's wife and do it online to get, as she did in her nursing degree, obviously certifications in different areas professionally, but most importantly, if you want to start out with that undergraduate bachelor's degree, whatever it might be, WGU allows you to work on your schedule because ambition, Derek, never rests.
You're right about that. Sage Move of the Week. This is good, I think, for all parties involved. I put Marc Emmert moving on from the NCAA. A legacy that probably won't be well remembered, even though he churned out billions of dollars for the organization. So maybe it's well remembered there in their building. But I just think, Jake, of all the things to miss on, to not be prepared for where this NIL stuff was inevitably going to go, to not really be prepared for any inevitabilities when it came to this, and thinking that you were going to keep up this amateurism and all of that was extremely, extremely short-sighted. And I know that's not all on Marc Emmert, but he is the leader of that group. So, unfortunately, that's how it works. It falls on him for being in the dark about it.
Yeah, that's fair. You're right. Kind of a complicated legacy, right? I don't know. Like, what would you say was Greg would probably know better than I on this. What was the signature, I guess, positive change that happened in the tenure of Marc Emmert?
I can't think of anything. I don't know what the big, huge positive thing would be. Probably, if you want to give him credit for this, I don't even know if you give him credit for this. I think women's basketball's really turned the corner.
That's fair.
In the last couple of years.
Baseball?
Women's sports in general. But you know what, Jake? A lot of that was because of the public outcry over the NCAA's facilities and what they gave their women's basketball players compared to the men's basketball players. Remember that little weight room that had like one yoga mat and one like pink barbell? And it was like NCAA women's weight room. And one of the athletes was like, what the hell is this? And that's what started that whole thing. So I hate even giving the NCAA credit for that because I think it's really their own ignorance that led to a lot of those changes that we've seen. But I think at the end of the day, whether they want to admit it or not, it's a money-making venture, and they made a lot of money with Mark Emmert.
Fair enough.
Good riddance.
Some of the, I mean, lesser, I hate to say lesser, some of the non-big revenue sports seem to grow in profile a little bit under him. Maybe I just say that about Indiana because we're in Indiana and IU baseball has become big.
I think, there's probably some truth to that. Biter Bobleep, Chateau Kitchens, they are the best. I just got off the phone with Ryan, my project manager. They're finishing up our bathroom this week, I think. They're waiting for the shower glass to come in still, but everything else.
The toilet in your basement?
No, but they're going to do my basement as well.
Okay.
Megan, our project designer, is coming back over in a couple of weeks to take a look at the basement. So we're on to project number 2, ChateauKitchens.com. Actually, project number 3 was Chateau, all in all. ChateauKitchens.com, at Chateau Kitchens, Instagram, at Chateau Kitchens on Facebook for before and after pictures. Let's start, Jake. Jelani Woods, Biter Bobleep, the tight end, big dude from UVA. Biggest long-term impact of this draft class?
No, Bull Schultz. I think he'll be a good player, but they've already got players at that position. He could be, but I think there are – Pierce would be the better odds there just because he's at a position that could have more impact.
A lot of upside because of the RAS score and everything else. I'm actually going to buy it. I'm going to take Jelani Woods as the best player from this draft class, all in all. Matt Ryan will still be the Colts starting quarterback in 2024. Biter Bobleep.
100% buy it.
I'm going to say Bobleep.
Okay.
Well. I don't think he will be. Week 1, 2024? I think that's asking a lot, I think. We got to wrap up here. Last one. Jake should reject medical advice and run the mini with a bone spur. Biter Bobleep.
Oh, 100%. I'm all in. Mottman's doing it with me.
Buy it.
I'm
should
going
not
for
run
it.
with the bone spur. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Chateau Kitchens, Hoagies and Hops, Bailey and Woods, Stewart Tire and Auto.
Give me the cortisone, baby.
American Dairy Association. The brand fine chocolates, Lou Malnati.
Lather it up in Tiger Bomb, and I'm gone.
Only
baby.
Indy tickets. Everybody, for our crew here at ISC, we will see you next time. Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network, ISCSportsNetwork.com.
Throw it up for Tillman. Whoa, my goodness. 122.60 for Penn. What a swim. 6 of